My name is Scott Bernard Nelson, and I will be playing the Reaper in the film Internalized. This is really interesting for me because I came to film late in life. Once my kids were out of the house, I was an empty nester. I ended up in front of the camera for the first time, and it was magical. I had no idea. I'm a writer by trade. I spent most of my life as a writer, writer, editor, journalist, columnist, and I ended up almost by accident in front of a camera. And it really was fun. It turned out to be a way to tell stories in an entirely new way, and I just fell for it hard. So I've been doing it just over 3 years now, so it's relatively recent for me. It feels like every time I'm on set, I'm learning something new. I'm meeting new people, and I'm finding my way into stories in ways that continually surprise me. And so I knew some people in the film world. I had written two 48s, so two 48-hour film festival projects. I was added on as a writer, and so I met more film people that way, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. I love movies. I love cinema. I love the art form in general. So it was fun for me to dabble in it as a writer. I was actually every summer I take a vacation. Vacation is probably too much of really what it is. I take a long weekend with some high school friends, and we go to a houseboat on the coast, and we, just have a good time, relax, and eat too much and drink too much and just have a nice weekend. And I was there, and I checked my email on my phone at the end of the day, and we were all sort of laying down for the night in this sort of silent houseboat cabin setup. And I said, oh my gosh, somebody has asked me to be a priest in a short movie. And they laughed, like, oh my, you a priest and an actor? Oh my gosh, it was this whole big thing. They made everybody's day. And so I said, sure, I'll do that. And I ended up coming back, and I was essentially the officiant for a wedding in a short movie. It was really a charming little short movie that never ended up coming out. But I had a good time on set, and I met some fun people and interesting people, and it made me want to try it some more. And eventually I started, doing some networking and meeting some people, learning about acting, because I really didn't know what I was doing. And eventually I ended up on some others, and here we are 3 years later, and I'm talking to you about film. So it's kind of an unexpected journey. Yeah, that's easy for me. Like I said, I came to acting later in life. I'm a storyteller. I've always been a storyteller. I'm a writer, and in my day job now, I'm a communications and marketing expert. So I'm used to telling stories in a different format, but acting, it allows me to tell stories from this intensely emotional place that surprises me, it sneaks up on me. I don't necessarily know what's going to happen. So it's happened a number of times when I'm on a set that we're around all these creative people in this intense moment, and I'm really thinking about my character, and I'm really trying to make sure the director's story gets told. And I know my lines. I'm prepared. I know what the script is. I know what we're going to be saying. And then I'm utterly just blown away by what ends up happening in the scene. I'm with another actor, and the director says action, and something happens, and at the end the other actor looks at me and is like, what just happened? Where did that come from? I don't know. I sometimes don't know, and it comes both ways, right? I don't know what they're going to do, and they don't know what I'm going to do until we're in the moment, and you feel it. It's emotion. It's not something you planned or practiced or thought about or decided to do ahead of time. I'm looking at this other human being, and we're telling this story, and we forget we're telling a story, and we're there, and something happens, and the scene ends up being just utterly surprising. And I love those moments. I love those moments. The other thing that I really enjoy about being on set is how many creative people it takes. Yeah, so a couple of things. I've said before that I like film that has a point of view, right? And this movie clearly has a point of view. So I respect that, and I like that, and I like being a part of that. The other thing that I like is that this character, the Reaper, might be the most interesting, or one of the most interesting characters I've had the opportunity to play. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around who this character is, and I will be until we're done filming. I'm going to be working on this and thinking about this. And preparation is, I'm a writer, I'm a storyteller. The preparation is some of my favorite stuff. But this is a character who has been doing this job for all of human history. Hundreds of thousands of years. Seeing humans in all their glory, in all their craziness, in all the tragedy, make these decisions over and over and over again and repeat these patterns a million times. And how deflating is that in one sense? How demoralizing is that in one sense? Are you kidding me? Okay, this is not even original. You're doing the same thing I've seen a million people do, right? But how do you keep some shred of spark of life through that, some humanity, which feels strange to say about the Grim Reaper, right? But it's still a character. He's there to do a job. I'm there to do a job. How do you keep doing that millennia after millennia, seeing people do these things? And then when do you actually come out of your shell and try to make something change in there? How do you say, this one, sure, I've seen a million souls go off to the next thing, but this one, I'm going to try to make a difference with this one. What makes me make that choice? How often have I made that choice? Why now? What do I think I can contribute? And what do I think is going to change because of it? This is really complex stuff. It's really interesting stuff. This is a very interesting character in a movie with a point of view. I'm really interested in exploring that. I said earlier, I don't always know what's going to happen when I get into a scene. I don't know what's going to happen with this character. I'm still trying to figure it out. This is going to be really interesting and a lot of fun for me. I think the themes that we've talked about here are things that I find important. I want to be a part of a creative team. I want to be a part of a project with a point of view. And I want to be a part of something that allows me to explore and sort of crack open parts of my own psyche that I don't necessarily know are there. And I think this has the opportunity to be all of those things. And so that strikes me as a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this. Well, no two are the same, first of all. Different sorts of things, whether it's a commercial or a film or a short film. They're sort of different things. But I'm a writer, so I typically write a backstory. I will just sit down at my computer and start typing. And I don't necessarily know what's going to come out, just like I don't know what my character is going to say and do sometimes in a scene. I don't know what's going to come out when I start typing a backstory. And then I reiterate and I rework it. And then I sit in that space. I sort of marinate in that story. And then I lay that over the script, and I read the script again. And then I go back to the backstory and I read the script again. And I sort of think about it. What's happening in these scenes? What might I actually be thinking about? None of that, by the way, is memorizing lines. I do that too, but that's not character preparation. That's a different thing. And so I use an app to memorize my lines, but I read them flat. There's no inflection, there's no practice, there's no imagining how I'm going to say it. I just memorize lines flat. And all the other stuff, that preparation, that backstory is separate from that. And on set is the first time you bring those things together, where I actually, with another actor, with other people, try to bring that character that I've been working on in my head with the lines that have been written. I only bring it together on set, on camera. I don't do that in preparation. I don't do it at home. I'm not going to waste whatever that feeling is when you find it. I'm not going to waste it in rehearsal. So like I said, I'm often surprised what happens when I get to the set. It's because I haven't been sitting at home practicing saying it 10 different ways. I don't do that. I memorize and I work on the backstory. And when you get to set, they come together finally. So a promo is interesting because you only get this little slice of this larger story, right? And um, I haven't had time to do the months of preparation yet. So we're doing the promo early on. So I'm actually curious that when we're done shooting the feature, how I'll feel about who my character was in the promo. I'm not sure it'll be the same. Like, I have a feeling this character is going to continue to evolve from the promo. I hope so, anyway, right? So it's this, and I knew that at the time. So it's this interesting moment where you feel like you're almost like a toddler just learning to crawl, and you know eventually you're going to be running. But right now we're just crawling, and let's try this character on. Let's see how this feels. Let's think like this character now, and that will actually inform the preparation and the work that we will do between now and the feature. So it's an interesting moment, and to put my hands on the side, I mean, really, I mean, unbelievable that somebody made that, first of all. And to sort of wear that prosthetic, you know, really remarkable makeup work, really remarkable costume work. And so to get to sort of weave into that a little bit, dip into that a little bit, and start to get to know my character and start to talk about this story at a point that we know is the beginning of this story, not the end. That's a really interesting place to be. So I really enjoyed it, and I think it was the starting point for a lot of the development that I'm looking forward to. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on there, right? Again, I mean, it's a collaborative art, and there are a lot of creative people. I was blown away by the makeup artist, Trista. She had made a general's prosthetic. It wasn't specifically made for my face. So it was just a general prosthetic. Well, she's going to do specific ones for me when we get to the film, but for this, she didn't. And there was some question of whether I should shave my beard, but it didn't come until right before we shot, and I couldn't do it because I already had a project coming up that I had agreed to keep the beard. So poor Trista had to take this face that wasn't even made to match mine and then cover the beard. She ended up like cutting apart I sort of looked like Hannibal Lecter with half of it on. And then she did the forehead separately and then blended it all with makeup. Unbelievable work. When I looked in the mirror for the first time, when she had done that, I wouldn't have recognized myself. I've spent my whole life looking at my face. I mean, really a remarkable, remarkable job. So I can't say enough about her talent and professionalism and what she did. And I can't wait to see what she can do with even more time and preparation. The other thing I would say is you asked about wardrobe. We talked about props, and that side, unbelievable. And way heavier than I thought. Like, people, I think, imagine props are really light. Like, this thing is, you could do some damage with this side. But the Phoenix who did the wardrobe came up with this concept of this sort of pseudo-Western thing with kind of this hat and a bolo tie. Who does that with a Grim Reaper, right? This is where the creative minds of all these different people bring things that any one of us individually would never have thought of or done. And, that's a beautiful thing.